Hi buddy, welcome back. I'm the Strategy Professor, and today we're going to be doing another coaching video. This one's going to be for a Platinum 4 ADC main, Illuminari. You might recognize him from the channel. He is a member. He does come out on Tuesday nights to play with us. If you want to be a member as well, I'll tell you more about it at the end of this video. It's a really cool thing that just started up a few weeks ago, where you can come out, play with a bunch of other viewers, play with me on Tuesday. I play champions that people want to see. You can get discounts on coaching videos. You can hang out in a really cool Discord. But I'll tell you all of that after the show. If you want a coaching session, it's just $20. Just email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. I'm happy to make a video just like this for you. If you want to watch more coaching videos, I have the coaching playlist linked. And if you want to watch champion guides, I have the champion guides linked here. I don't have an in-depth guide for Miss Fortune, who we're going to cover in this video. But I have a ton of different support guides available out there. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the op.gg here. Looks like a pretty solid game overall. I noticed that you did place 4 control wards. That's excellent as an AD carry. That's really good, so you have that covered. As far as runes, I think the runes are pretty solid. Some people will go lethality reds, or like typically lethality reds. You can actually go dual penetration reds if you want, because your E does do magic damage, but I personally like going AD. I like this choice. It helps you last hit a lot better. It's just better overall. I think the lethality might scale a little bit better into late game, but honestly, I like runes that favor the early game usually, and this is pretty solid. The one thing where I think there might be a little bit of wiggle room is with the blues, because you're against a Nami who's not going to be doing a ton of AP damage early. She will be doing some. You could, in theory, go attack speed blues if you want to, although Miss Fortune's not really an attack speed based AD carry, so it's not the best option probably. Or you could go magic resist per level. You would eclipse the base magic resist around level 7 or so, I believe, for magic resist. I'd have to double check the math on that, but I think magic resist is level 7 once you eclipse, and that would help you out in the mid game a little bit more against Syndra and Warwick. So Warwick does a lot of magic damage. So it's just an option. This is okay. I mean, Nami will be hitting you consistently with waves and things, so you will find a use for it, but that's just another option that's out there. If you're not facing a heavy AP bot lane, then you can go some of those other runes on AD carries. Health is also another choice for yellows, but you guys probably won't be all-inning early. Health is better early on, all-in, especially against mixed damage, but the armor is good. It scales better to the late game. So overall, I think this is the optimal rune page, but I'm just throwing out a couple other options there for you that you could consider in this matchup or others. Masteries, this is exactly what I would recommend. You could consider going 1 point in Vampirism, just for a little bit of extra lifesteal if you like. I have seen people do that before. Yeah, the rest of this looks really solid. And then I was making sure my wife's not in the picture there. She's tinkering in the closet. Okay, so let's talk about itemization. Now, this is one thing that I think I would probably do a little bit differently. We'll see. I can see arguments for both. So what I'm going to recommend is that you should rush Duskblade on Miss Fortune. They did just nerf Duskblade a little bit, but I still think it's the optimal build for Miss Fortune for one primary reason, and that is that your Q procs Duskblade. I'm about 99% sure that Q procs Duskblade. So this means that you have insane range. This also gives you a lot more control over bushes, so it gives you more vision control. So Duskblade was nerfed fairly recently. However, it still gives attack damage, lethality, and cooldown reduction. Remember, cooldown reduction is very, very good on Miss Fortune, as I'm sure you know. So having that extra little bit of cooldown reduction is good. So overall, it's pretty much worth, you're paying 10% for the passive, the 2 passives. Now, Blackout, being able to disable wards is really powerful, being able to shut those out. It's basically like having an extra sweeper on your team, which is really good. And it detects automatically when a ward is there, which is great. So unlike a normal sweeper where you might be guessing sometimes if they have a ward here, or they have a ward there, you're going to know there's a ward there every time it activates, because that's why it activates, right? So that's very powerful in and of itself. And then, of course, the Night Stalker is the marquee thing about Duskblade. Now, they did nerf it a little bit, but once you pick up this item, probably around level 9 or so, I'd guess. You might get it a little bit sooner. It's still 165 extra damage. And remember, there is no internal cooldown on this. There is no cooldown. So that means that every time you go invisible, or every time they don't see you, then you get an enhanced attack. So couple this with the Duskblade, and if you grab a pink and put it in one of your bushes to control it, then you get to come out of the bush every time with this active. And if you look at Misfortune's Q, and this is what you level up first, so I'm sure you're aware of how powerful this Q is to begin with, but if you couple that with the effect radius is 500. So basically you can apply Duskblade if you're bouncing your Qs correctly off of minions. You can apply Duskblade about 1150 range max. Just over and over and over again when you go into a bush. This is what's truly overpowered about Misfortune, is you just keep... How do you CS under... How are they going to CS under tower when you just keep bouncing double ups at them with this? How do they even come up and fight you if you have Duskblade double up? I have played against this before as Misfortune, even before it got nerfed, and trust me, it's so powerful that the nerf really doesn't matter. You lose the slow on it, but that doesn't matter too much for Misfortune. Like, it's cute, but you don't need it. That was mostly for Jen, who got to automatically hit a W off of a Duskblade proc, basically. But it still is extremely strong because your Q can proc it. You don't actually have to get an auto attack range. You can just fire Q bombs from long distance. And if you hit somebody, if you kill a minion with a Q and a Duskblade proc, and it's level 9, you have 5 points in Q. I did the math on one of my patch notes. I forgot when they changed Duskblade, and I was saying the thing was going to be ridiculously overpowered, and it was. I said it was going to be a meta-defining item, and it was for a patch before they nerfed it. I think did they hot nerf that in mid-patch? I don't remember. But anyways, it's going to be doing like 600 or 700 damage, maybe even 800 damage pre-armor early on, and that's just like absurd on an ability that basically has no cooldown. So that's why I think you need to be going Duskblade. Now, it doesn't give you as much utility as Ghostblade in the mid game, but it gives you a lot more kill threat. And even if it's not in lane, just being able to... trying to think, your next basic attack, enemy champions. Now, I'm wondering now in team fights if this can double proc. Like, if you can Q and double up and hit 2 people with the Duskblade proc. Because it says... applying on-hit effects to both. I'm not sure about that one. Next basic attack against enemy champion will have enhanced effects. Not sure about that one. That seems like that'd be really OP. But anyways, huge burst damage. So I think it's worth it, especially if you have an extended laning phase. You can really bully them out with this. But even just in team fights, if you just walk up, Q, off of somebody, hit somebody else, just E, ult, massive damage. Obviously, the armor pin's good. So I would recommend, you know, if your build permits, to go Duskblade, Ghostblade, Cleaver. Now, Cleaver is important because of the cooldown reduction on Misfortune. You know, it might be... They have nerfed Cleaver over time. I feel like Duskblade just has to be number 1, because that's one of the marquee things on her right now. And then I think maybe you can get rid of Ghostblade and just run Cleaver next. That would give you 30% CDR. You get 10% from this, 10% from Cleaver. Oh, that's something else I meant to say, is you could go CDR blues also for the 7.5% CDR, which is pretty good. I mean, if you go this build I'm talking about, Duskblade, Cleaver, and then do that, you would have 38% CDR, which means you'd have ults like all the time, which is wonderful. I mean, Misfortune's all about her ult, so... I think, yeah, I think maybe Duskblade, Ghostblade, Cleaver, maybe Dusk, Cleaver. The thing about Ghostblade now is it's basically like just utility, right? So you get the add a combat move speed, which is good, and you can move in combat for 6 seconds, but you really, like, the movement is good. Like, there's no way around it. The movement is good, right? That lets you reposition, that lets you run from Warwick, that lets you get into a good position for your ult. It just doesn't add that much. I mean, it does let you kite, which is combat power, but I think Duskblade's better. It's just way more raw power off the Duskblade proc, especially in lane. I'm not sure if this is better than Cleaver. More damage than Cleaver, but that CDR and the shred with your ult. I think you have to have Cleaver. It's just a Misfortune special. I think Dusk, Cleaver, and then... maybe Ghostblade. Maybe it depends on how fed Warwick gets. If you really need to kite that Warwick, maybe you have to get Ghostblade anyways. I feel like Duskblade is so strong. I'm going to say Duskblade, definitely, and then figure it out from there. Duskblade Cleaver, figure it out from there. You also did build some other utility stuff, which is good. I like having the... I do think Executioner's Mortal Reminder is probably necessary for Warwick, and I do like the QSS also for Warwick. So I like your utility items. So it's a good build. It's a good build. I just think Dusk instead of Ghost might be better, but if you need that movement speed to get away from Warwick or Darius, maybe not. I'll have to see how the game unfolds, but Dusk is just such a huge power spike. That's one thing I would definitely consider. Although, to be fair, you don't have a kill lane. So, I mean, if you had, like a Zyra or maybe even a Rakan or maybe a Sona, just something else that did a lot more damage, then definitely Duskblade. The fact that you have Janna is, like, a little bit of a pause because you're probably not going to have enough to kill him all in. Maybe. It'll just be poke. But I still think you should go Duskblade. Anyways, let's move on. Okay, so early game might be a little rough with the where's the lane? Caitlyn, Nami. So I think it's going to be a little bit rough early on. You might want to start with Doran's Shield. I see you did start with Longsword 3-pot. I think that's probably okay too. Something defensive, not Doran's Blade. You have a pretty strong pick potential mid with Malzahar on Syndra, so if you can push up, that's a big if. Pushing against Caitlyn is hard to do, but if somehow you can push up, then try to roam mid, make a pick there. Be sure to let Shin know if you're going to go all in, so just ping a few times before you go all in. That way Shin knows to look. Keep an eye on drag early with a pink. This is pretty important. Make sure Warwick does not snag early dragons. Watch out for Darius TP behind you. I don't know if he's running TP for sure. I can't see his summoners from here. If he is, watch out for that. If you had Duskblade, it would help you clear the bushes. And you should win team fights in the late game. You should also win split pushing. Shin's going to outscale Darius pretty hard later in the game. I think Warwick could be a major split threat if he gets ahead, but I think your team should just win everything. Probably. Like, they're going to win split. I think you'll win team fights. That Darius is probably going to be dead weight. Warwick's okay, but he can be kited, and you have a lot of damage to burst him down. I think it's looking good. I think it's looking good for you this game. Okay, let's go ahead and get in here. Spent long enough on the pregame. I don't usually spend that much time, but I just wanted to explore and just talk my way through the Duskblade decision. Like I said, I'm not an ADC main. I should have prefaced that at the beginning of the video. I'm a support main, but I do play with ADCs a lot on my team, and I've seen all kinds of different permutations, and I played against ADCs, obviously, a lot. So I'm telling you that Duskblade on Misfortune is disgusting. Even after the nerfs, I think it still is probably the optimal way to go. But we'll leave that up to you to try out if you want something. We'll talk about what you have going on here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the game. I'm going to take notes, and then at the end we'll bring it all together and give you some tips. Okay. So hide that. Oh, I need to turn back on the volume. I don't like that little background whatever noise that it makes while we wait. Yep. Okay, so turn on blue side. Fog. What do you start with? Oh, red side fog.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Here we go. Alright. I'm liking the arcade skin.
Minions have spawned.
Okay, coin.
First
Some stuff. Interesting. How did that happen? Okay. Okay, so in the landing phase, you know, you want to try to hit as many Qs on them as possible, but Misfortune does have a heal and you don't. So, you know, you need to watch out and kind of take note of this, Janet. I would not use your Q to farm. You're going to need that mana. You should be using it to poke them. Yeah, that's something I would definitely change. I mean, I know you're probably a little scared and you just kind of want to farm safely with a Q, but I would not use Qs strictly for farm. I think you need to try to poke them. Because, yeah, that's one thing definitely right now I can tell you is you need to be using the Q You need to save it in position to where when your minion's about to die, you need that second shot to hit a champion. Because the more damage, like what you want to do against Nami, there you go. That's what you want. That's what we want to see. The more damage that you can do to Nami or Caitlyn, either one of them, particularly Caitlyn, the better off you're going to be. Because what Nami wants to do is she wants to walk up and W you. So she does damage to you and heals herself. And she's just going to keep doing that over and over again. A good Nami player will. She's going to auto W, auto you. And that's efficient. Because she's doing damage and she... that's efficient because she's doing her damage and she's healing. And that's what her ability is balanced around, right? Is that scenario. Okay, good. Good trading. Yeah, she's taking some bad trades. But if Nami just has to heal herself or Caitlyn and does not get any bounces, then her heal is actually very inefficient mana-wise. Now, Coin sort of obviates all of that because she's just going to have infinite mana anyways. But it will stop her from hitting you as much is the key. So yeah, see if you can get a good ricochet. She's wasting a lot of mana on bubbles. So you are going for some bounces on them, but you see you're kind of out of mana here. And some of that, you know, I'd say at least the 30 or mana bar was trying to farm with Q. Just like that. That has no chance of hitting anyone else. So you need to be doing damage to the enemy with your Qs, not just farming. Because they're not pressuring you that hard. Like, they're pressuring you a little bit, you know, but you should be able to just last hit these without needing a Q. Okay. I'm going to say... So you have done this some, as I said before, and you're going for it. Like, right there, you're going for it. But I think too many of these Qs have been just to farm. Otherwise, this is going pretty well. Go ahead and see, speed this up a little bit here. It's like they're just kind of opting into a farm off. I'm not really sure. I think they're just very scared of Kha'Zix or something. Okay, you should put an E on him right now. E on him. You don't have enough mana, though. Okay. Yeah, so they're just very scared. That was a good attempt. You gotta work on these Qs though. You gotta hit Q bounces on them. That's the key thing about Miss Fortune early game. And if you can master those and get those right, that was a great roam. I would maybe consider flash queuing that. Flash auto Q. I think you could have killed him. I didn't see your range, but I think you could have walked up and probably flash auto Q'd him and killed him. It would have used your flash, but I think there was enough damage there where you could be pretty certain they're going to die if you did that. Did get Dragon though, that's good. Yeah, a lot of that came down to not having enough mana, though, too, because if you would have been able to put an E on them, they definitely would have died. So just being a little bit more conservative with your mana in lane. Not using your Q to farm. Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and back. I assume you're going to go like a Serrated Dirk. Yeah. 2 longsword. I think I've seen some of these people that you're playing with. I've seen a lot of them. Yeah. So I assume you're probably going Ghostblade first item here. It's okay. Like I said, I still think that Dusk would give you a lot more power here. Okay, good. You hit her that time, did a little damage. And you want to play around your proc time. Not sure when that serrated Dirk's going to be off cooldown. I'd have to read the Dirk again.
Rampage.
Yeah, I can't see it here. I know, I'm pretty sure it has an internal cooldown of 45 seconds. I think it, isn't it like when you kill something, then you get the buff? Yeah, there it is. Headhunter's on cooldown, yeah. I think it's whenever you kill something, you get that buff. It's a 45-second cooldown. So what you want to do with that, I believe if you Q, kill a minion, and then it hits somebody, I believe that will use the buff. So that's how you want to use Serrated Dirt, if you can help it. But, you know, sometimes you just have to kill the minion. But you do want to get that to proc on him. It's a nice trading mechanic. Okay. Damaging spell will deal bonus physical damage. Oh, so it's not an auto, it's just a spell. Okay. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's good. Good damage. Can you eat him? Eat him? E? E? Use E? Is it on cooldown? No, it's not. E? Yeah, that was definitely slow on the E. Let me see here. How long was that E up? Was it up the whole time? I'm pretty sure you had mana this time. It's like 80 mana, I believe. Okay, well, maybe not. Let's see. You got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. E. 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 Yeah, it should have been a little faster. Yeah, if you were to just eat her right there, when she was right there instead of right there, then I believe you guys would have had her. Now, I'm not sure if you stepped on that trap. I thought you had a window there of like a half a second before you stepped on that trap. Okay. We got here. I'm gonna say try to trade with Headhunter more. Now, as Janna's not really like shielding you that much in a lot of these trades, at least not that I've seen. She's not using like offensive shields, so she's not like shielding you when you're using your Qs when it's gonna hit somebody to add on that extra damage. If they turn that around, I'm gonna be real sad. Yeah, it's a sad day. Dragon's coming up soon, in about a minute. How we looking CS wise? Yeah, I think you're still farming too much of those Qs. You got Headhunter. There you go. You don't have enough for an ult just yet. Now, Nami is hard to lane against, to be fair. Nami is hard to lane against, especially with Coin. She just gets like infinite mana to heal through everything. So yeah, it is just kind of a farm off. That Water Dragon is helping out a little bit. I think, yeah, you see that Nami's not there. I would have gone hard on her right there. I think you had enough mana. Let me see. When did you see Nami leave? You gotta punish. Okay, we see Nami walking out of lane. You have a good chunk of mana here. Okay, you see her right there. Nope, nope. See, you wasted your Q right there. You see Nami right here? You needed, especially with Janna right here, you need to ping this like 3 times. Like ping question mark on Nami. Ping this 3 times. And then just auto Q, E, auto, ult. And if Janna shields you, that should kill her. Either it's going to kill her, she's going to flash, or it's going to bring her extremely low. Let's watch that again. Alright, so you see Nami start to wander off. Okay, so that should be going through your mind. Okay, I'm going to make a move on Caitlyn right now while Nami's not here, especially if she goes further than that. Alright? So you see her right here. Heck, even if she's right here, even if she doesn't wander all the way up there, this is still going to take her like 4 seconds to get over here. So I think you could have at least forced a flash here. Because she's not playing defensively at all. Walk up. Auto. Yeah. She was there. I think you could have walked up. Auto. Maybe even Q off a minion. Auto. Ult. And then she'd have to run. I mean, she's not that far ahead of you on items, is she? Not really. Maybe a little bit, but... I still think you could make him pay. Who's strong? Alright. Kha'Zix's strong, Shin's strong. Other lanes, kind of strong, not really. Alright, Dragon's up. If they back, you need to ping Dragon right now. As soon as they back, if you're still in lane, you want to try to push them out of lane. Okay, here you go. Go ahead and ult. Ult. Oh, you don't have mana. This mana thing is a big problem. I think it's been several plays now where you don't have enough mana to do like the proper play. And I think a lot of that is from farming with Qs. Like, if you had enough mana there to ult, especially after the Nami wave, it's debatable. I guess you could hold it until after Nami waves for the ult. I still think you would have gotten off like 3 or 4 waves of your ult before the wave hit, and that would have either killed or forced a flash. But if you could wait until after that... What? They got it? Yeah. So... Yeah, that's a dragon swing. And right there, you didn't have enough mana either. Oh, let me see. It was a Q. See, if you hadn't used that Q there, you probably would have had enough to ult here. But you used your Q. So I'm pretty sure you were probably like 20 mana short of being able to ult. If you hadn't used your Q to farm under tower, that's... So you've had your ult here, and there's been potential for like 2 or 3 kills now, and you haven't used your ult. And it's because you're always out of mana. Because you're using your Q to farm. I think that is... If I can give you one tip here, I think that is the biggest thing. Is just try to use your Q less to farm, and you will be... very pleased with the results, I think. That's a waste of the Shin. Like right there, you're still using Qs. Like, what if someone rolls up out of the dark here? What if, like, you know, Warwick comes rolling up out of here right now? So I'm going to say conserve more mana. Because it's like, even with Dragon, you're still short. Even having a Water Dragon, it feels like you're still just like always out of mana. And I think a lot of that is just Qs to farm. If you just farm normally, without having to use your Qs, then... I think that was a pretty bad back, too. Let me look and see. Like, obviously you need to back, but you need to have the wave up much more, because I think she's going to get a free tower. Like, you see her... She's queuing this, she's pushing hard. She's back in the lane. You do need to buy, because you just got the tower, but... you don't want to give up a tower also. Like, sometimes you have to wait, and I'm guilty of doing this too. But you see her right here pushing really hard. You need to stop your back and defend this tower. I think they're going to get a free tower off of that.
Shut down.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a bad back. So you need to spend your money, which sucks, but okay, they're not going to get the tower, or are they? Yeah, I wouldn't ult that. I mean, I know you want to defend the tower, but that makes you very, very vulnerable right now. You guys they could dive you too. So I'm going to say don't back if pushing. I think you just have to sit there and farm it and just say, Kha'Zix, help me out. Okay, good. Because if they're pushed up that far and you're there, they're going to run. Because they're going to know that Kha'Zix could be there, probably. And if they don't run, you can call Kha'Zix down to kill them because they don't have a tower anymore. Let's see. Okay, so you get bubbled. Janna's doing her thing. Okay, she does have Ardent Sensor now. Nami does not, so y'all are in a strong spot. Okay, move up, run up, run up. Malzahar's here. Okay, good. E here, right there. Okay, good. Okay, that should be a free kill. Okay, good. Rotate over here. Mouse did not ult? No, he didn't ult. Okay. Yeah, don't get the guys. Go kill the Nami. What are they doing? Like, who cares about this ward? Go get the freaking... Okay, whatever. They're like sitting here killing a ward, and Nami's like in this bush killing one of your wards. Malzahar ult. That's fine. I mean, there's nothing you could really do there. I mean, I mean, I guess you could go up and pressure. Like, you can ping it, though. That is something you can do. If you see Nami right here, just ping, like, assist. Ping, 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 ping. Because maybe they don't see this Nami. You need to go up here right now and get this Nami. Because they already have Kate dead. Like, the worst that's going to be here is Sintra and Warwick. And that you're going to have a 4-on-3 if that happens. I would have pinged it and told him to get the Nami. And probably pushed up to E her to stop her from backing too. Yeah, you need to go down here. Why are you mid? I guess, yeah, trading a bot for mid. Okay, okay. Well, you're not gonna get it though. That's the thing. Caitlyn's here now, and they get a free bot tower. Yes, I would have stayed bot. I mean, it's close, but Caitlyn is gonna have wave clear, so I would have stayed bottom. Once again, this is a thing where you don't want to back when they're pushing. So if you would have killed the Nami, you could have pushed up to here and then gone to make a play on mid tower. But since you guys didn't kill the Nami, and you just ran, then she got to push that wave up with the Syndra with no consequences. I mean, you did get some damage on mid, but that's another thing where you're like, you're giving up on bot lane too early. Like, just because you get the tower bot doesn't mean you just give up enemy team with bot tower. Now, where's your pink? Is this your pink? I think that's yours. I don't know. Yeah, don't let him get that. Don't let him get that. Okay, you gotta let him get it. Your team's not there. No, don't use your ult to try to steal things like that. It's got like a 5% chance of happening. And now you don't have your ult to defend this tower. And you know they're probably going to drop Rift on it next wave. Most likely. There's no reason to flash there, because she already ulted you. I know it's just probably a panic flash, but that's just something to consider. Don't use ult to clear or steal. I mean, your ult is a big ticket thing, team fighting tool that you have, and you really need that for your team whenever you get into a big fight. And a pretty good Janna ult. You're out of mana again. Now you're always out of mana, friend. you gotta conserve that mana. I know it helps with the last hitting, but it's adding up a lot. A lot. Even though you don't have ult right now. Now you're not gonna have enough for like still having E. Where? What? What? He's full health. Okay, your ult's almost up. Mal's is almost up. Watch your ults anytime you're about to get into a big fight. Look at your ults. And see if you want the fight. Okay. You don't have Shin. He's pushing top. Y'all gotta get this right now if you're gonna go. Shin does have TP. Okay, pretty good. I would let him commit a little bit more before you do that. Like, you want to time your ult with Malzahar's ult. So once Malzahar ults, then you want to ult the target that he ults. Yeah, they're going to get top.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Yeah, so I would save your ult until your allies get some kind of crowd control on them. So until Shin taunts or until Malzahar ults or something like that. Or even like, if you're going to do it also, make sure that, now that you probably didn't have the mana for this, but like the standard combo is you put the E on them first and then you ult. And then that slows them. So they can't run out of it as easily. Because they just basically ran out of it right there, you know? With virtually no consequences. Like, you chipped, you know, Warwick and one other person a little bit, which is good, but, you know, having the slow field on them, you want them to die unless they flash every time you ult. They shouldn't be able to just walk out of it. I didn't see what happened up there. I assume you just got too close to Darius. I mean, well, let's go take a look. I don't think it was probably anything that fancy. You probably just got too close to him. Put the E a little bit behind him. Yeah, you got too close. I think you could have just queued off minions at him, right?
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Yeah, I would stand further back, like stand like here and queue off this minion to hit him. And then, you know, then you can auto and like weave your way back out and then queue off this minion. Like, use your queues off minions to hit him so that you can stay further back. You gotta run back, run. So that's a detail. I mean, that's, you know, that's kind of hard to outplay that, I guess. You just have to stay further back when he can do that. I think you may have gotten creep blocked too. Not a lot to say about that. Obviously, you don't want to get hooked by Darius. There's not too much to learn from that one. I think you probably understand that. What do you got? Alright, Cleaver, Ghostblade, she's got IE. You might be able to 1v1 her. Your team does have a lot of gold from towers. Well, actually, no, not really. They have a lot of gold from towers. I don't know how she doesn't have more. She must just not have bought. Oops, let's go. Be careful. They pinged him. He's on wards. Okay. Don't let him hook you. Okay. Oh. Did you just cancel that on your own, or was that forced? Okay, back. Oh, backspace is jump back. Okay. Backspace is not jumping back. Okay. How did you get interrupted, or did you just cancel it? I think it's just a misclick. Yeah, make sure you don't do that. You gotta stand further back. Okay, go. You gotta stay. I think. Yeah, they're basically gonna get it. Yeah, it's another time when, yeah, it sucks because you didn't have mana, but I think you gotta stay and at least, like, create some presence there. Like, slow him down a little bit. You can't just give him a full tier 2 like that. It was just Nami and Syndra, like, if you just cleared a couple of minions and just looked kind of tough, like, they probably would have just backed up. Alright. Oops, I need to close that. What are you getting? Alright. QSS Executioners. Okay, I see that. That's probably fine. Executioners does help against Darius also, and that will help you if you get pulled and then hamstringed, or whatever his thing is. Is slow. That's fine. You need to be really careful with this Syndra. He's probably going to have this warded. They're probably going to try to hit you over the wall with a stun. If she stuns you, you're dead. That's one of those things where you got to give that up. Which you guys did. Because Malzahar is really far out of position. You wanted to kill the Darius instead of make a play on Infernal. How's Janna looking? Okay, just got some okay items. You need to watch out. Janna's not warding this. Warwick could come rolling up. Like, this is all fine, but like he could just come in like this. Drop a pink here. One of your pinks. Wait, what? This guy is inting or what? Oh, I guess he does have his team kind of close. I feel like y'all should have killed him. I don't know what happened there. Is everyone just afraid of him? Like, he literally teleports right in front of 5 people. Oh, I see. He didn't see you guys here. Yeah, you need to put him right now. Okay, you did him there. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Y'all are just scared of each other. Drop your pink here. You need to use these pinks, like you have them in your inventory. Okay, that's your one right here. Use your other one like down here aggressively. Or come use it over this pit. Y'all need to get here now. No, not Darius. Doesn't matter. Get this. You see them. Like, I've got your vision on right now. You know they're doing it. Y'all need to be over here much faster. Okay, go ahead. Ult. Okay, good. That is basically the play that won you the game, probably. So they just threw really hard. Yeah. What? Oh, God. Wait, how did you die? Oh, Darius. Yeah, you gotta wait until he hits you with the slow first. So that was good. That was a good combo. Kha'Zix jumps in with Shen. Yeah, I guess you were already slow. Does he have Frozen Mallet or something? I don't know. Yeah, it's really tough anyways. You're not getting out of that probably. It's just so troll, like how he can, once he starts that animation, it doesn't matter what you do, it's finishing. Okay, well, we'll go ahead and... Still a good play overall. Yeah, now keep in mind, if you had that pink in that bush that I was telling you about, you would have seen him. So this is all good to clear, you know, to clear an area, but because you had an extra control ward, you should have dropped it here. That also, remember, they probably had this warded. Let me go back and just see. I want to see just the full vision. And what would have happened if you dropped a pink there. Because I'm betting that something in there was probably warded. Okay, let me do all vision. Yes, see? This is warded. Alright, so if you would have dropped a pink in that bush where I wanted you to drop it, because you do have an extra one in your inventory right now. You buy a lot more pinks than an average AD carry, and I really like that. That's great, but you got to use them, right? And I'm guilty of this too, sitting on pinks sometimes too long. And I like the Krabby ward. So it was good to shut out that ward, but you need this. This is like, you know, if your support hasn't swept this, this is like 90% going to be warded most of the time. It's probably the most common ward on blue side around Baron. Okay. So if you warded this, if you pinked this, you probably actually would have seen that ward also. So they saw you guys sitting there, and they just didn't think that it mattered. Now, Darius is going to sneak up on you right here. He knows you're there. You don't know he's there because you don't have a ward there. So if you had a ward, it would have saved you. And it would have shut out some of their vision. Now, they completely ignored the fact that a Misfortune could ult that pit, and Kha'Zix could jump over it. But, you know, higher caliber enemies probably would have adjusted their play based on this knowledge here. But anyway, so that's just a place where, you know, changing up your warding a little bit more. Because this isn't really, like, you got to keep in mind, you know, yes, you do have a pink ward on the map, but this isn't really giving you anything, especially in that situation. Like, this vision is not that valuable. Shutting out their vision was valuable here, but this is much, much more valuable, both for shutting out vision and for establishing your own vision. We're looking. The people, does anyone still have Baron? Okay, Shin has Baron. Does anyone else have Baron? Just Shin. Okay. Well, y'all need to have him split. Okay, they're all massing up down there for some reason. Let's go fight him. I think you beat him up anyways. The Shin doesn't have ult, but he has TP, so yeah, just have Shin go top. Everyone else go bottom. Now you need to watch out, because they could all be like here or here. Watch for a Warwick. You just saw him disappear. He's probably going to come over here. Yeah, I don't like that. I would not ult clear that wave. Right there is where you want to ult. Potentially. I mean, I think that you don't have, like, Misfortune's best on a team that has a lot of crowd control, and you don't really have any on your team. But it is important to keep the wave off the tower, but I think you could just do that with an E. You know, I don't think that you have to use your ult thing. Don't let her kill you. Okay, good. I like, good, you're kind of fading back, making sure she doesn't ult you. Yeah, good call. Come over here, kill this wave. Kind of dragon's just water. Oh, somebody jumped over this. Yeah, run. Shin does have ult. Check all your ults. Okay. Yeah, get in there. What? Y'all don't really have any engage other than Shin, which is kind of a problem. If Kha'Zix was just like Cho or Maokai or Gragas or Sejuani. Okay, good. Guess you got to pick on the Darius. Go run it up, push up middle, and then go probably go bot lane. You have a wave working there. Push this up more, push this up more. I know you have supers, but so it is gonna naturally be pushing a little bit. I guess that's fine. I would have pushed up one more wave probably. Tell Janet to ward this, and then push up one more wave and make sure those supers are in their base. Because it's not a waste to push supers lanes. You want it all the way up. Because right now, they can come and defend this if they want to for a little while, because the minions, you know, they probably have about a minute before these minions will get into their base. But if you pushed up one more wave, they would have to go stop, or the supers would be on their base towers, probably right about now. Okay, well, there's Kha'Zix. Big damage. Like, right now, they can defend this because you guys didn't push up one more wave middle. Oh, there you go. Alright, well, they just disrespecting Kha'Zix damage, basically, is what that came down to. Okay. Pretty good job, pretty good job. I liked your positioning in a lot of team fights. You did manage to stay in the back. I think Syndra only caught you like once early to mid game, and that is hard to play around her because she has such huge range. I don't think Warwick ever ulted you. I don't think in a big team fight Darius ever grabbed you. He grabbed you like once or twice. He grabbed you once up here, and he just kind of caught you off guard over here. So I think your positioning in team fights is actually pretty good. So the biggest, and that's one of the most important things for Misfortune is that you have a good position so that you can safely ult from really far away. So it looks like you've kind of got that down. So that leads me to believe you didn't really need Ghostblade. Like, you weren't using Ghostblade actively to kite and run away from Warwick or to run away from Darius. Although I feel like you could have a little bit more. You know, if you QSS that Darius slow and then Ghostbladed, I think you maybe could have gotten away from him in a couple of those instances. But either way, they weren't putting a lot of pressure on you to where you needed that Ghostblade. So I do think that Duskblade, probably Duskblade into Cleaver, would have been the best two items there before you get your QSS and your Executioners. Okay, so the biggest one is be much more conservative with your mana. This is a pretty big one. This is the biggest thing all game, is it felt like you were just basically always out of mana. And there were several times where it came back to bite you, where you could have had some pretty easy kills early game if you just would have been able to ult. There were 2 exchanges that I pointed out where you just still had your ult because you didn't have enough mana to cast it. And sometimes it was literally like you used a Q to farm, and then like within the next 10 seconds, like a fight broke out, and you just did not have enough mana to ult. So that's the biggest thing. Let's have this stupid spacing in here. Come on, man. 1.15. Who does that? Okay. Be more conservative with your mana. Only use Q to harass enemies. I know it seems like it's cheap. I think it's only like, what is it, like 60 mana, 50 mana maybe? Probably even less than that, yeah. You level it up, 43, 46, 49 mana. But that adds up. You know, if you're using this to help you farm, that's going to add up quite a lot over time. Because her other stuff is kind of expensive, right? Like this Make It Rain's 80, and her ult's 100. So you want to have, if a game's coming in, you need to have enough mana to Make It Rain and ult, which means you need at least 180 mana a lot of times the gang's coming in. Because that's the combo, right? Is you slow them down, and then you bullet time them. So you need to make sure that you're just a little bit more conservative with your mana. Let's see here. Use your Headhunter, your Serrated Dirk passive. Use that a little bit more. Use your Q to help you proc that. Okay, another big one is This happened twice that game that I pointed out. Once bot lane, you backed when they were pushing up, and they got a free bot tower, and then later on you backed off a mid tower, and they got a free tier 2 mid. So I'm guilty of doing this too sometimes. And I know that like bot lane the first time, you want to spend your gold because you just got that tower. I think you just had a couple kills. You need to spend your gold. The thing is, you can't give them a free crackback tower. Like, you have to push them in much more to where you're going to have time to get back before they arrive. And just ping Kha'Zix to come down there and gank. If they want to push that far up without, like, backing up, you need to ping him to help you gank. If they back up, then you should be able to push 2 more waves in and push them into their tier 2 tower territory. And that should give you enough time to back. So, make sure that happens. In the mid lane, I recognize that you didn't have a lot of mana, but it was just Nami and Syndra there. And I think Syndra's ult was down. So if you can just sit there and even just auto-attack a couple of minions and just look kind of scary, they're probably not going to stay, right? So if you can drop an E on the minion wave to clear it, that should be more than enough. Like, the only reason they stayed to keep doing that is because they probably saw you back. If they didn't physically see you back, they didn't see anyone there. So they're just like, okay, well, we're just going to keep going if no one's going to mark this tower. But if they saw you there, like, clearing the wave, they probably would have just backed. Either way, they would have, like, been a little bit more cautious, and they would have been slower to hit the tower, I think. So I think you could have saved that tower, both of those towers, if you would have just stuck around a little bit longer. So just be a bit more careful on your backs and don't concede towers that are pretty defensible. Okay, so I would say respect the power of your ult. Like, Miss Fortune's ult is very, very important for your team fight. Miss Fortune really doesn't have a lot. Like, she does. She can auto and Q and stuff like that, but her damage is pretty awful compared to other AD carries if she doesn't have her ult. Her ult is her whole identity. So, you don't want to use your ult to clear a wave. Just use your E. Not only does it do damage to the wave, but it slows it down so it doesn't get to the tower. You know, I respect wanting to wave clear off of towers, but your ult cooldown is not short enough where you can do that, right? Especially with just a cleaver. You're only going to have 20% CDR. So, you know, that means that it's still going to be over a minute probably without an ult. Especially when they're setting up on a tower like that. You know there's going to be a fight a lot of times pretty soon. So, I just really wouldn't do it. And remember, not only does your ult actually just, you know, do a lot of damage, but it also does that area of effect Black Cleaver shred, and you want that shred to happen when Kha'Zix jumps in there, and even when you're landing your auto attacks in a fight, like, you want that cleaver stack to be there. So don't use your ult to clear waves. Definitely don't use it to try, you know, you tried to take Rift Herald with it. Don't do that. Now, it was good when you went for the Baron, because not only, you know, you're probably not going to get the Baron with it, but you got everyone else really low, and Kha'Zix went in there and cleaned up. If you had the pink ward in that bush, it probably would have been real clean. So you would have seen the Darius, you could have gotten away, and you could have warned other people that Darius was coming, and you would have prevented 3 kills with the pink ward. And everyone would have had Baron, and then you could have made more pushes. Like, that pink ward in that bush was a really big deal. The lack of the pink ward in that bush was a really big deal. And yeah, you know, your support should be warding that, right? Like, you shouldn't have to be the one to do that. That's a very obvious place they're going to have warded. You could have also seen Darius, like, fade out of mid lane and start rotating that way. You know, I think that's unreasonable to expect you to see that. Like, you're focusing on the Baron, you're trying to figure out when you're going to ult. Like, if I was live in game, I probably would not have seen the Darius. I didn't even see it when I was watching. I didn't see the Darius rotate out of mid lane and head over there. But with the pink ward, you would have seen it. But you know, you put down way more pinks than most ADCs, so you do a great job with that. I just think that one spot, especially because you had a pink ward sitting there, because you know they're probably going to have that warded, or they're at least going to have over the pit warded. So just warding something in that bush probably would have been a good ticket there. But yeah, I think that's about it. overall, your play's really solid. I just think that these are probably like the 4 biggest things with a couple of little caveats in there too. He used Duskblade. I'm just gonna say that again. I think Duskblade would have been really nice there, but I think the biggest thing, like one thing that I really want you to work on, and I think this will help you gain a lot more elo, is be more conservative with your mana. Just chill on the queue for farming. I know it helps you farm, but I think you're using it as a crutch. Like, I think that you're perfectly capable of last hitting without the queues. I just think you're using it just for convenience because it looks like it doesn't cost a lot of mana. But it does. It adds up over time. So, you don't have coin, okay? You're not a support with coin. You can't just willy-nilly just throw out all your spells and have infinite mana, right? So, maybe I noticed that you had been playing support some, and I definitely approve of that message. But yeah, you don't have coin, right? You don't have the luxury of having coin of misfortune. That would be lovely, but you don't. So you got to be a little bit more conservative with your mana. That's the biggest thing, is just be more conservative with your mana. Use the headhunters is whatever. That's okay. Don't back if the enemy's pushing. That's another big one. But then using your ult, conserving your ult for team fights, especially waiting on people to land crowd control and then ulting while they're held so they can't get out of it. I think that's really where you want to be. And then I think Duskblade will help you do a lot more spike damage, especially in the laning phase. It'll help you get some of those huge bursts, like boom, really snowball you ahead. So I think that's pretty good. But overall, I think it's great. Obviously, you're really good at Misfortune. A 66 sample size with 64% is excellent. So I think you're doing very well with that. I think you will take it up to 70% if you conserve your mana a little bit more. And I notice you do buy similar items in most games. Did you get? I do like the Boots of Swiftness. I like that choice a lot. It helps you reposition. I didn't comment on that before, but I do think that's a great purchase for Misfortune. Yeah, I think that's it. So that's going to be it. Best of luck. I hope to see you out here Tuesday night for Members Night. Speaking of which, I said I'd talk about that at the end of the video for anyone that stayed for the whole thing. I'm just going to talk about this real quick. I'm going to make a full video about it sometime soon. I've been saying that for weeks, but I need to get a haircut before I do that. I've been saying that for months. But Members Night, if you want to join in, it's just $5 a month. Cancel anytime, no contracts. It's kind of like a Twitch subscription, but you get a lot of stuff for it. Instead of just getting a couple of emojis that are cool, you get a 10% discount on all donation services, including requesting guides and coaching videos. Get access to the member-only Discord. It's a lot of fun. We're building a great community here. This is just some fun stuff that people have posted up. Some kind of Instagram filter of me on stream with pigtails and like big glasses. So people talk about all kinds of fun stuff going on during their day, or just fun links that they just want to share with people. Like a snake here, got some wallabies here, or not wallaby, koala bears here. Just talking about different different aspects. So it's just cool. We're building a cool community. You can come in here, join in the fun. You can set up games with other members. And just, I had some people play ARAM before last week's Tuesday Members Night. And this is where we set up the Members Night games as well. So I think it's really cool. And it's a troll-free zone. It's all people that are committed to the channel. They have a great attitude. If anyone's a troll, we get them out of there. We haven't had a problem with that at all. So this is not just like a public Discord that you might find on other channels where there's just hundreds of people and lots of trolls and people yelling random stuff. This is actually a really cool, respectable community that we're building here. So it's a lot of fun. So if you want to join in with other adults that are having a good time and chilling, or even if you're a teen, you don't consider yourself an adult, there are lots of mature, cool teenagers out there as well. So it's just a cool community you can join. Then we do have the Members Nights every Tuesday starting around 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just play all normals games. We just rotate through. I make sure that everyone who comes out, I do the best that I can to make sure that everyone who comes out gets at least one game in. Most people get multiple games. And then there is a champion vote. Well, I'm not going to pull it up right now, but there's a straw poll where you can vote on the champion you want to see me play. I play a lot of those on members nights. I also play some during the week. It could be anything from Vagar support, Kale support, even more exotic supports, to things that are popular that sometimes I just don't play on stream, like Braum or Tom Kench or Zyra or Soraka. You get a say in what I play for normals games on the channel, so I think that's pretty cool. And if you're interested in Total War Warhammer, I'm going to create a poll for that soon as well, particularly for Warhammer 2, for whichever factions you want to see. That could be a lot of fun. And if you're interested in that, you just take this link, take you to PayPal. It takes like 30 seconds to sign up. Very secure payment processor, probably the most secure, trusted payment processor in the world. That's not directly affiliated with a bank. So just $5 a month, cancel anytime. If you do cancel in the middle of a month, I can't give you back like $3 or something, but I can keep giving you the benefits for the entire month. So I think that that's really cool. Yeah, and if you have more questions about that, you can email me at thestrategyprofessor@gmail.com. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. And then, yeah, I got the email here as well. If you want a coaching session, it's just $20, or a topic of your choice, or a guide about a topic of your choice. That's also $20. The guides take a little while to get through. It's about 4 hours to do a guide, and I have a bunch of those stacked up. But I will get to it eventually. And then with the coaching sessions, usually I get to those pretty quickly, within a week, often much faster than that. And then I've got more coaching playlists if you want to see more games, and then guides if you want to see in-depth guides for Janna, Zyra, Nami, Tarek, Lulu, all kinds of other supports. Then I've got you covered there as well. Okay, that's going to be it. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed it. Special thanks to Illuminari. I really appreciate you supporting the channel, being a member, getting the coaching, and I know you're going to go much higher than that. You might even beat me to Diamond this season. Who knows? I've been a much slower to get back up there this season. But I remember playing with you on Members Night, and you're doing quite well. I thought you did very well that game. Also, just tightening up the mana usage and some of the other stuff that we talked about. So that's going to be it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Have a good day.